Hey everybody, what's happening? Neil back once again with another TV slash streaming review for you, and I'm going to be talking about Stargirl, Season 3, Frenemies. This is the final season for the CW show Stargirl, and boy, was it really surprisingly good. Season 3, and yes, there will be spoilers, so you've been warned, spoiler alert. I'm not going to talk about every little episode here, but I am going to talk about the main plot of the show and what happens, and how it all ends. After surviving Eclipso and also having Cindy Berman, the former foe, wanting to join the young JSA, we find out the gambler is back in town, but he's killed by something off camera, something that's been watching him on camera, and we don't know what it is, but he's killed. And Cindy, Dragon King's daughter herself, is shown standing over him, holding a gun, basically proclaiming her innocence. And that's true, she actually didn't do it. But Yolanda believes Cindy did it, and so do the other team members pretty much, except for maybe Courtney, Stargirl herself. She believes that Cindy may be innocent. She's innocent until proven guilty, I guess. As it should be. So what also happens here is at the very end of season 2, the original Starman, Sylvester Pemberton, played by Joel McHale from Community, he shows up, and it's a huge shock to everyone, especially Pat, who's perfectly played here by Luke Wilson. Now, Starman says that he was reanimated somehow by Courtney's bond with the staff, the magical staff. So, I don't know about that, but well, more on that a little bit later. They agree to share the staff as they go out to investigate this murder of the gambler, and also why Shade is back in town, that dapper gentleman, very classy character, and I'm really glad the way they cast him as well. Does a great job. Rick, our man, he gets hooked on this new magical hourglass that kind of allows him his strength to go on for 24/7, but at a cost. Normally he can only have strength for an hour at a time, thus his name, Our Man. And now he's got the power to be strong all the time, but yeah, there are consequences for that. He gets really sick and really messed up because of that. Meanwhile, Beth, the new Dr. Midnight, she's dealing with her parents, buddying in. They're trying to buddy in. They're butting in as well. They're trying to be all buddy with her, though at the same time they're trying to be in the JSA, and it's really annoying. It's annoying for her, and it's kind of annoying for the audience too, quite frankly. But that's a very, very small part of the show. Cameron is a fairly new character here, Icicle Jr. Well, he was in the previous season and everything, but he's now dating Courtney, and he's a great artist and everything, but he's having trouble controlling his powers, and so she wants to help him with that. His art teacher goes to visit him at home, but he winds up being killed by Cameron's grandma, by Grandma Ma Kent, basically. Grandpa seems a lot nicer. So Cameron has got some deciding to do as to whether or not he wants to be a bad guy or a good guy. Now, I can't talk all day about, all of season 3 here. Things like the Crocs, Sportsmaster and Tigress, they're a couple, obviously, and they have a child. They have a teenage daughter named Artemis, who's kind of real attitude problem. She's pretty cool badass, though, of a character. But, I'm not going to go on about those characters too much. I will say that the Crocs do wind up getting killed later, and I'll tell you who did it in just a second. I did enjoy some of the side stories here, though. The Jade and her brother, Todd, otherwise known as Obsidian. That was really cool, and it kind of dealt with the kids of Green Lantern of the 40s anyway, and his whole lineage there. I like that stuff a lot. But there's also there's just too much to talk about, but there's also the Thunderbolt as well, which is another classic character that's being controlled by Jaquim now, and he's with Mike helping him out as well. And the Thunderbolt now is voiced by Seth Green. He was voiced by Jim Gaffigan, I believe, but now it's Seth Green. So another strange change, just like Dr. Midnight. Used to be Henry Thomas, and now he's another actor. So okay, fine. All right. I don't think too many people noticed it too much, but Thunderbolt is kind of funny, kind of interesting. Seth Green does a good job with it, though. I was surprised. I thought it was going to sound too Seth Greeny, but it actually works. Now Sylvester is attacked by something off screen, so same kind of thing that killed the gambler, and he's brought to the hospital. He's in rough shape, but it was all a ruse, you see, because Sylvester, well, he was full of crap this whole time. It's not really him. It's him. It's his body, but it's not his brain. Yeah, Sylvester isn't really Starman. He's revealed to be the Ultra Humanite, another DC classic villain who put his brain into the into the body of an albino gorilla and became like one of the smartest things on the planet, and became a real threat to the Justice League. You might remember that Christmas episode of the Justice League Unlimited with the Ultra Humanite. He was actually in that episode. Um, but anyway, yeah, interesting character. Cool to see that. Using Starman's body. I guess he took Starman's brain out, and yet Starman is not actually dead. Yeah, I know, he's not actually dead. His brain lives, and apparently they put him back together again at some point. So, hey, how about that? Good for Starman. Dragon King's brain was actually put into the albino gorilla. So you have the Ultra Humanite inside Starman, and you have Dragon King inside the albino gorilla. Oh boy, it's pretty messed up, pretty crazy. But I like that reveal. I like that twist in the second last episode of the season. It was really cool. Their plan seems to be, really to reunite the ISA, the Injustice Society of America, with a returning Jordan Ma Kent, Icicle. He was destroyed at the end of season 1, but he took a whole year to reassemble himself in the sewers, apparently, because he was, he smashed into ice cubes, and he became like kind of like the T-1000. He became this like liquid that formed together, but it took a long time to reform. And yes, it was Icicle who wound up killing the Crocs, Artemis's parents, but she gets her revenge later on. Anyway, the Ultra Humanite tries to bury Pat Dugan alive after tricking him, but he actually winds up escaping because Pat's underestimated. He's a lot more resourceful than the Ultra Humanite gave him credit for. Now, in the end, the good guys, our team, they get back together to defeat the villains, including Grandma Ma Kent. She gets killed in the battle, but she was evil, so she had to go. Now, we also get a flash forward. Okay, after all the villains are defeated, we get a flash forward to about 10 years in the future, and it's featuring the Shade, who's giving a tour of like the JSA museum, I guess it is, and all of a sudden we get John Wesley Shipp as Jay Garrick out of nowhere. Boom, he's there. The first Flash, the Golden Age Flash. He's interrupting the tour given by the Shade, and he says, "You know what? Our adventures are not over." Sadly, it is actually over for us, the viewers. It's a real shame, because lesser shows have lasted longer in the CW. I think it is, like I said, it's an underrated, underappreciated superhero show. And it might have lasted longer if maybe if it started 10 years ago. I think a lot of people are pooped out on superhero shows and movies maybe too. There's just too many CW DC shows, I guess, overall, really. The Flash was fun for a time. Arrow really started the whole thing. Black Lightning was pretty cool, but the other shows I didn't care for much. And this one blows them all away. In my opinion, Stargirl is as good as any CW DC show. Doom Patrol is pretty fun. It's a pretty wacky show, but I like Stargirl the best. It is honestly, if you're a DC fan, And even if you're like, oh, I don't want to watch any more adaptations, still, you should give it a chance if you love the JSA, if you love Jeff Johns' comic books from the 2000s, I think the late 2000s or so. He did Justice Society of America, JSA, great, great comic books. Late 90s up to the 2000s. Anyway, whenever those came out, you should pursue those books as well. They're great. They're wonderful books. And it really was, one of the good ones. And the cast is perfect. I think Luke Wilson gives maybe his best performance ever. It's his best role, I think, for him. It's the best fit for Luke Wilson. He's really great as this father figure, as a teacher, as the guy that has to be uncool sometimes, and has to, show Courtney what the rules are all about, about being a superhero, and they never really stop that. So that's really great to see that quality, consistently throughout the show. It really does pay respect to the golden age of DC superheroes, of course, the JSA, and the Justice Society of America. And I do wish we get to see, I wish we got to see Dr. Fate, Spectre, Alan Scott, Green Lantern would have been really cool. But oh well. I mean, you can't ask for everything, I guess. We did get Jay Garrick Flash. We got Wildcat Ted Grant. We got the original Arrowman, and we got the new JSA as well. So really cool stuff here. It really is a blast for comic book fans, for DC fans, and if you're all burned out on superheroes, like I said, it's definitely still worth a look. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. Why not? Second season I think was the best one because of Eclipso, the best villain there. But I like the Ultra Humanite stuff too. It was pretty cool. Some of the visual effects were a little disappointing at times. Solomon Grundy was like, okay. He looks okay. It doesn't look great. Same with the Ultra Humanite, in albino gorilla form. But overall, that's a very minor misgiving. The show is really, really good. And I think I've made that clear over the last couple of years. I've been shouting from the rooftops, go see Stargirl. So yeah, I think I gave season 1 an 8 out of 10, season 2 a 9 out of 10, and season 3 I'm going to go back and give it an 8 out of 10, just like season 1, because it was worth it, again, to stick with this show. Very sad that it ended. It definitely deserved a 4th season. And, well, what are you going to do? Maybe they can make a movie or something like that, like they did with Serenity, the Firefly movie. Because that show was cut short too. But we'll see. Maybe not. But I really enjoyed the Stargirl character. I enjoyed the show much more than I thought I would, when I first started watching it. And again, for the millionth time, it's definitely worth it. Check it out, superhero fans. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to this TV/streaming review of Stargirl, the final season. It's all over. Ah, well. Until next time, guys, this is Neil. Peace.